Hey everyone, so obviously this video is so different than videos that I typically make, and you can already tell by the title what this is. And I actually don't plan on editing this video at all because I just want it to be like a very real conversation with you guys, and I was not planning on making this video whatsoever. You guys know me and like my personality, I'm very like positive and don't want to get into drama or any of that, but I have gotten so many DMs and comments asking me to talk about this, and I figured might as well just make a whole video about it because this is like something that's so crazy that's going on right now. And yeah, so many of you were just asking me to make a video talking about my opinions on it all because I am in college, and I actually rowed in college and was recruited to be a D1 lightweight rower here at Boston University. So I rowed my freshman year, and basically hearing about this whole scandal is like, at first I was like, okay, whatever, doesn't really affect me, but after thinking about it a lot, it's something that's like so terrible and actually really bothers me. So yeah, I figured we should just talk about that, and let's get on into it. So basically, if you don't know, probably all of you know that are watching this, this huge scandal is going on, and I grabbed my computer to read you some things from like the articles. I've read so many articles, seen so many tweets and Instagrams and obviously about it. But basically it's a huge scandal of like parents, really wealthy parents and like famous parents paying for their kids to get into college and just like lying in the whole process to get them into these schools. So it says they include Hollywood, this is from LA Times, they include Hollywood actresses, former CEOs, a famed parenting book writer, a fashion icon at Newport Beach, college counselor, and university athletic officials. Oh, the Newport Beach college counselor was William Rick Singer. I've seen his name a lot in articles. I think he's kind of like the middleman between like the parents and like the people that work at these colleges. It says, in a college admissions scandal brought to light Tuesday, federal prosecutors allege wealthy parents paid to help their children cheat on college entrance exams and to falsify athletic records of students to enable them to secure admission to elite schools, including UCLA, USC, Stanford, Yale, and Georgetown. So basically, at first I was just hearing about like Olivia Jade, and I guess her sister as well because she's like a year older. But there's so many other kids involved in this and like other wealthy parents. It's crazy. Like there's some articles that are like, this is the biggest college admissions like scandal ever. What authorities describe as the largest college admissions cheating scandal ever. Yeah, and there was a tip that came from an LA parent. Apparently, I didn't even know how it came to light, but then now this article says that. So this isn't to like attack her or like, Olivia, you're probably not watching this, but I actually met Olivia before at Coachella this last year. You guys know my friend Maggie. I was with Maggie, and Maggie was like really liking her videos for so long, like watched all of them and was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna go say hi. So we like talked to her for a bit. I remember she was with her sister, and they were super nice. I remember she had like a cute tank top on, like they were like very normal and nice, and she was like, oh, you guys like look familiar or whatever, maybe I've seen you on YouTube, whatever, like very friendly, nice. But we're obviously not friends in any way, but like I wouldn't, if I was her, I wouldn't want this video to be like attacking me, and you guys know I'm like a very nice person, so this just isn't like me to make this type of video. But I just think that what happened is so wrong for so many reasons, and for their sake, I hope that like the kids don't know about this. I think in some cases the children don't even know that their parents were like paying for them to get into these schools or like lying about all these like athletic records and SAT scores and stuff. But I think in some cases they do. So one article I read was that Olivia, they had her pose on rowing machines. Like if you guys row, like I rowed, you know, like obviously what a rowing machine like an erg is. And it said that they had her pose on like rowing machines to take these pictures to pretend that she was going to be recruited at USC. So the articles I read said basically she was guaranteed admission, well not guaranteed admission, she was admitted to USC based on the fact that she was going to row at USC, and she was like a recruited athlete for the crew team. And if you guys like got recruited in college like me, you know like what a tough process that was. Like I worked my butt off for so many years to get recruited to row in college, and the fact that they just lied about it to not guarantee their admission, you know what I'm saying, to make it easier to get in, kind of is disgusting, because I rowed for 6 years and like worked my butt off, like I said. So for everybody else that's like working so hard to get in and they're just having their parents pay to like basically lie to the school and say that they're rowing, like that is just crazy to me. And what hurts the most is knowing that basically colleges for rowing teams always have like a maximum number of athletes they can bring in for like a recruiting class, and knowing that her name was on that list and like kicking someone else off, basically like a potential athlete at USC that was gonna row, and that person like didn't get in and didn't get to go to USC, breaks my heart, because it's like that's someone that actually did row, probably didn't have their parents pay. So that is just something that's like the worst part, I think, about it all. But I think about what this means as a whole for like the college admissions process, and I know just every college student out there is just like so disgusted and upset by it, because it's like, now what does this mean for like going forward? And you kind of have like no trust in the admissions process, and you don't even like count on it as being like fair and everything. So I don't know, this is just so crazy to me, and I just like can't believe it happened. And like I said, I really hope, Olivia, that you didn't know that your parents were doing this, but I can't help but think that you did, especially if you were posing on a rowing machine, you would know. And there was like some emails that I saw tweets of. There was like emails between Lori Loughlin, her mom, and like this guy, Singer, I think, being like, oh, like Olivia can't even figure out how to fill out the application, like can you do it for her? And just like all this stuff, and they would like Photoshop pictures of like other people rowing to make it seem like she was rowing, and like race results and stuff, and I'm like, what? This is just so wild. This is so crazy, and yeah, I just can't believe it. And I just think that it's awful. It's just terrible. I want to read some other things to you guys, because it's not just them. Okay, there's like a list. Here's everyone charged in the case. William Singer, who is like that guy, I think, that all the parents were talking to, and he like had connections with these coaches at these schools. And that also makes me so sad too, to think that like this crew coach, like I know there's a sailing coach at Stanford, and that was with this other actress. Where is she? She's on this list. You guys know her. It's like Huffman. Where is her name? Oh, Felicity. I don't even know these people. She looks familiar though. Felicity Huffman. Oh, she was in Desperate Housewives, duh. And yeah. Okay, I think I remember reading that she was the one with the Stanford sailing coach. I could be wrong, but basically all these coaches involved, I'm like, that just makes me so sad too. And I could understand if you're like a coach at a school and you're like, oh, like someone's coming to you with so much money, you're like, okay, I can like write their name on my recruiting list, like how hard can that be? But it's just insane that like all these really poor ethical decisions were made, and that it just like was able to continue. Like I can't believe no one along the way was like, this is bad. I guess just since all the money involved, like it says Massimo, I don't even know how to say their last name, Giannulli, something like that. That's like Olivia's last name. And Lori Loughlin. It says that they agreed to pay $500,000 in bribes to have the two daughters recruited for the rowing team, even though they didn't actually row, to gain admission to the school. That's what I'm trying to say. Gain admission, not guarantee. So yeah, told the couple their younger daughter's crew profile would show their daughter falsely as a coxswain. Yeah, like this is crazy. They asked for an action picture. The dad sent a picture of Olivia on an erg. Like, okay, come on. Like you knew what was going on. Oh, that just makes me so mad. Yeah, I don't know. I just like can't believe this is all happening and this is coming to light, and it makes me think like, oh, what's gonna happen with Olivia's like obviously crazy successful social media and Instagram and YouTube and everything. And I remember actually I checked her YouTube yesterday and her Instagram, and it looked like she disabled comments on everything, which was probably something that a lawyer told her to do, or maybe she just didn't want to deal with that. But before that happened, I remember reading funny comments on her last photo being like, you're late to crew practice, like LOL. But yeah, I just think that's crazy. And I honestly think what honestly makes me so sad is I feel like whenever a scandal like this happens with someone that's like really famous, they kind of like overcome it and get through it, and she'll show how she's changed and she'll be fine. But it's like that's such a bad thing that happened, and she'll probably end up okay. I mean, I don't know. That's just my like prediction, but yeah, back to the bad decision making ethically, what I learned in my college that I paid for all by myself, and that I got into BU to be an athlete, and I was recruited all in the fair way. What I learned is that making bad ethical decisions is a very slippery slope, and I'm sure with all of these parents and coaches and everyone involved, it probably started off as like a small thing, and then it just grew into this big huge thing where like 50 people are getting arrested for racketeering, money laundering, conspiracy to defraud the US, obstruction of justice. Like, that is so insane, and they probably never thought that it would get to this point, you know, because when you make these like really bad ethical decisions and you keep going with them, it almost becomes easier. So they probably were just like in their own little world, like not realizing how bad it could be. And I also read that Lori Loughlin, I don't even know where, and I have so many articles pulled up, that Lori Loughlin's being like dropped from all her networks, which is like crazy that that's happening. I almost feel bad for them in a way. Like, I want to say that's sad, but obviously they did something very illegal and like very bad. And it was saying that, you guys know Olivia has her makeup collection with Sephora. And it said that on Sephora right now all the palettes are like sold out, and they're like cutting off her partnership with her. I think I read something that said Tresemme is cutting their partnership with her. Like, all these brands are like obviously not going to sponsor her anymore, which is just so, I don't know, it's crazy. Yeah, in a way I do feel bad, but I know I shouldn't feel bad because they did a very bad thing. Yeah, so I think this is all that I really wanted to talk to you guys about, is that I think it's really crazy, and I guess I urge you to just be a good person in all aspects of life, and don't ever think that like cutting corners a little bit is like okay, because it can lead to something big and terrible like this. And like I said, deep down, I don't think in their minds they even realize like how bad of a thing that this is, but now that it's coming to light, I'm sure they'll realize. And I don't know if I would say necessarily that all the people involved are like bad people. I think that good people can make bad decisions, and I think they will learn about this one the hard way, unless they just pay their way out of it somehow, like rich people always seem like they're able to do. But yeah, I just think this whole thing is really wild that it's all coming to light, and I just hope that stuff like this doesn't happen in the future, because obviously it's taking away spots from potential students that have worked so hard and are way less fortunate or privileged than these people that are literally just paying their way in. And I saw a funny like tweet or Instagram or something, and it was like, if you had that much money to pay colleges to get in, you don't need to go to college at all, which I was thinking too. I was like, I was surprised that Olivia even decided to go to school, because it seems like their family is just set, and she honestly has her like big huge social media empire. Like, I feel like she could just go with that forever. So I was surprised that she even decided to go to school. But you guys know, if you're watching this and you watch like Olivia's videos, I actually haven't seen her videos in a while. I remember me and Maggie really liked them in the beginning because she seemed a lot more like relatable and her content was like fun. And then when she just started showing like Dior dresses every day, I was like, okay, I can't like relate to this. And I haven't seen her videos in a while, but I remember, because this one was like spread all over, and I think she might have taken it down and like apologized for it. She talked about going to USC and basically like not caring about school. She's like, you guys know I hate school, like saying that she didn't care about the school. She was just there for like partying and like the social aspect, which everyone was so hurt and obviously upset by, and I would be too, because it's like, hello, like that is just so like out of touch and out of context. Like, you don't realize how much people sacrifice to go to school, and you're saying that you just want to go to party. Like, no, that is just so wrong. So yeah, I don't know, this whole thing's crazy, and like I said, again, I just urge you guys to make good decisions every day in your life, and like any little thing that you think you could like get away with or like cheat maybe to like cut a corner, just don't do it, because like I said, bad decisions are a slippery slope, and bad decisions will get easier if you continue to do them. So just don't fall into that. And yeah, I just try to live my life like, this is a really good way to look at things. If something that you did right now, like every day in your life, like something that you're doing, you just need to picture that everything that you're doing is like the front page of a newspaper, and how'd you feel about it? So it's like, if you're like iffy about something and you wouldn't want the whole world to see about it, don't do it. So yeah, I guess I'm gonna stop like lecturing you now, but this whole thing is obviously really just like disheartening and sad, and I feel like if I was a potential student, like in high school looking at colleges, I would feel so discouraged and just like the whole thing is really unfair. And I'd be like, okay, cool, like already I'm fighting for like limited spots because of these people that can just pay their way in. And there was even more stuff about like hiring people to take ACTs and SATs, and it's like, what? Like that is just crazy, and I can't believe that even happens, because again, it's like people like me and probably so many people at BU and colleges everywhere have worked so hard to get there and studied forever and spend all their money on tuition, me, and like row so hard to be able to be recruited for these like Division I athletic teams. So yeah, the whole thing is just crazy. And basically, be a good person. Olivia, I hope that you learn from this, and I think you probably are a good person and just made a bad decision with your parents. I feel bad because it was probably like the parents that initiated it. I guess I don't really know. None of us can really know, but yeah, I guess that's all I wanted to say. Maybe this was helpful, seeing like a former D1 athlete's perspective on the whole deal, because right as I read that it was like her being recruited to the USC rowing team, but like obviously wasn't gonna row or be on the crew team at USC, I was like, come on, that's crazy. Like anyone that rows knows like how hard rowing is. Like it's literally terrible and just like so intense. So it's like you can't fake that you are a rower, because it's like literally the hardest sport ever. So that is just like funny to me. But anyway, I think that is all I wanted to say. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.